Welcome back to Melanin United. On this video, we're going to talk about disturbing video news I seen coming out of South Africa with Nurse Popey. So, the video I seen was, I was upset and so angry, but like what happened was there was this patient, Zimbabwean patient woman, right, in South Africa, and Nurse Popey was telling her, and the patient was saying, "Thank you, miss. I'm grateful for your help," right? And Popey was telling her about, "I don't get enough funding for you guys, and this you guys are taking South African money and all that." And the thing about that is, yeah, she doesn't have enough funding for all of that. But the thing is, these are Africans. These are people. These are our people. You see, and these are not, and the Zimbabweans, other Africans are not the ones that are giving you less fundings or anything like that. It is your governments that are ran by white monopoly capital. Just like the EFF say, it's the Minel, the Ruperts, and the Oppenheimers that are running it. See, and Cyril is such a sellout puppet that's about to get caught for corruption very soon. And they're trying to hide that, and they're trying to back him up. And they're trying to do all these distractions. They throwing all these distractions. Xenophobics, and their news want to make it seem like South Africans and are totally against every other Africans. Yeah, there's some that are attacking others, but that's not everyone. And their news, the white media, is trying to get us to fight like they always do, divide and conquer. They do not want us to unite. They don't want South Africans to unite with the Zimbabweans there, the Nigerians there, and all the other Africans. We have to stop fighting. Like, I was watching Julius Malema in his in one giving a speech yesterday, and what he was saying was stop fighting, stop fighting to work for white people, stop fighting to work for white men. And I totally agree with them. Anybody, why are you fighting other Zimbabweans or other Africans, but you're not fighting the people that have the land? The people that are only 9-10% in your country, these white folks, but they own what, 75-80% of the land? They own what, 80% of the 80%, 90% of the wealth, 80 to 90% of the mines, but you're fighting other Africans that for little crumbs. That's what we do all over the black world, in America, in South Africa, Africa, everywhere. We always fighting each other for little crumbs when we should be getting the land. We should be getting the mines. It's our country. Why do these white folks still run the land, still own the land after they didn't take it? They didn't take it through negotiations, through money. They murdered us. They raped, killed, and murdered, and they still have the land. And you want to fight other Africans? I love my South African brothers and sisters. I love all of my family around the world, but I gotta say something when I see it. That was very disgusting. And that's why also Julius Malema and the EFF, they don't not put up with that stuff. People like us, we don't put up with that stuff because we know who the real enemy is. We know who's really behind the scenes pushing these things, pushing Africans to fight each other. Because guess what? While we're fighting each other, what are they doing? Okay, good. They're not gonna come and take their land back. They're not gonna really come take their minds back. So we gotta keep making them fight, and that's all over Africa. That's all over the black world, everywhere in the West. They always trying to make us fight, so then we don't see who the real problem is. So, Popey, like, I understand the funding is low and stuff, and like you need it for the South Africans and stuff, but it's the Europeans, these white people that are running your country that's doing all this stuff. They're, for example, like when they employ a lot of Zimbabweans or employ a lot of Africans more than some South Africans in some companies and stuff, who's the owners of these companies? Who's the ones employing these people, employing more Zimbabweans and South Africans? Who's employing more Nigerians and South Africans? It's these white company owners. Why are they doing that? So you guys can fight. You guys can fight each other instead of saying, "Hey, why do you guys own all the companies here and all that? Shouldn't South Africans own it and other Africans own companies and you know?" So that's my point. Like, we gotta stop because this is what they make us do all over the world. And what do you think is gonna happen if we keep fighting? You keep fighting Zimbabweans, you keep fighting Nigerians, you keep fighting other Africans. What's gonna happen? It's just gonna keep doing that, and you know what's actually gonna happen? Then like some Nigerians in Nigeria are gonna be treating South Africans bad. Some Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe are going to treat South Africans bad, and then South Africans is going to continue treating more Zimbabweans, Nigerians, and all them bad, and we just keep fighting, and this is why Africa is how it is. Fighting, tribal, different countries, all this stuff. We're all fighting for little scraps while the Europeans have the whole dinner table, have the whole buffet, but no one's questioning them except the EFF. And that's why I know, like the past two elections, they always rig elections. The EFF should have been winning in South Africa. They should have been the president. They should have been having the administration as the head of the offices. But we know these Europeans, we know the Manel and the Ruperts are corrupting stuff. But they won't be able to do that in 2024. I guarantee you the EFF will win. And then we'll do what is going to be an amazing thing, land expropriation. Taking back our land. We're not saying kick every white person out the land, but the ones that are using big amount of lands, the ones that have big amount of lands that are not even using it. A lot of them are not even living in South Africa, but they own lands. But we need those lands for our people, for agriculture, for industries and everything like that. So that's why I totally love Julius Malema and the EFF, because they're gonna expropriate land, give them a lot of the land back to our people, bring jobs, and they're gonna own the mines. The mines are privately owned. We know when they say so-called privately owned, it's owned by these Europeans. Private lands, private deals, all these private stuff. I don't trust them. Because these Cyril Ramaphosa and these corrupt government officials in the ANC always doing these private deals with these guys. And you see how corrupt he is, his money in the Fala, that whole incident? And they're trying to back him up. So that's why when EFF comes into office, comes to power, they're going to give the land back to the people that are using it to grow food and so feed the whole country and feed more African countries besides South Africa. They're going to nationalize the mines, which is a big deal. I can't wait for that. They're going to nationalize all these sectors, Escom and all that. These white folks are trying to destroy Escom so then they can say, so then they can take it out of the state's hand and what's it called, and have it privately owned by these white folks. Just like they're still running Escom, but right now it's state owned, right? So-called state owned, but we know they're giving directions to Cyril and all those workers there because those are their companies. So that's why they want to take it from state owned, because when the EFF come into power, when Lemon and them come into power, if it's state owned, all that energy is going to benefit all the black people, all the people in South Africa like that. South Africa is one of the richest countries in the world. That's why the British Parliament, American people, the American governments, they always keep talking about South Africa energy and stuff. They don't want the EFF to take the energy and use it on the black people in South Africa. Bring so much jobs to South Africans and even other Africans that are in South Africa. We could all have jobs, but mostly obviously starting giving off the South African jobs because, right, the indigenous people on those lands, but still there's so much resources and stuff where South Africans can all be employed, have jobs, companies, but then also other Africans that do come there, they can also work there and live there too. And we should be like that all over the continent. And yeah, that's why they don't want Malem and them to be in office, because they're gonna nationalize the mines, the land, all those energy sectors and stuff. And then, well, South Africa is gonna go from being so-called a lot of violence and crimes and stuff that they fund this stuff. They want this stuff to keep going on, so then no peace can happen and we can divide and conquer. They don't want us to unite and take the land back from the white people that took it back by force. They don't want us to take it back. It's our land and they can't do anything to stop us. All they're doing right now is basically delaying it. But it's inevitable. We're gonna take our land back. We're gonna unite. Different countries, we're all gonna unite. African countries, all black people, we will unite, take our land back, and give our people a better life. Thanks for tuning in on this episode, and like, comment, and share. Alright.